What's going on, guys? Pixcam20 back here with a brand new video. We are here at my home track of WeatherTech Laguna Seca as we are starting in the Group 4 cars for the Manufacturer Cup race. As you can see, we are starting in a Mercedes SLS AMG, the Group 4 edition, with 459 points as we jump into the race now. So coming into the lobby now, you can see that we are ranked with A ranked players, A plus ranked players, and S ranked players. So it's going to be a very, very competitive lobby. So we got to be on our toes to try to finish as best as we can. But before we jump into the race, I'm going to do something on this race that a lot of you guys are probably going to frown upon, but I really had to do it in order to at least finish in a good position, because GT Sport kind of put us in this position with the strategy here that's pretty controversial, and I'll get to that a little later. As you can see in the bottom right corner, we have to use the hards, medium, and the softs on this race as we are given all those three compounds for the race. Now jumping into the points here, we are fighting for 250 points if we get first place, which could really help us out, as I believe all we need to do is get over 197 points to get more points to put onto our standings and help us gain more positions in the Mercedes standings and also in the standings for the Manufacturer Cup. So now, if you guys haven't yet, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, as it really helps out the channel. So that's going to be enough promoting myself. Let's jump straight into qualifying. So coming into qualifying, we're heading into the final two corners now. So we're going to head into the hairpin. See, there's a car right behind us as we brake right before the 3 number sign. Clip our apex, go as wide as we can. Try to get a great exit and a good front straightaway. So you can see the car right ahead of us has a penalty. And we were able to get a 7th place, or no, 8th place. As you can see, there's still a little bit more cars that still have to finish their qualifying. So let's see if we get pushed down even more. We get a 9th place, and we're just waiting now to get confirmation. And yes, we do. We get a 9th place starting position. So as we jump into the intro, I'm gonna tell you guys the thing that's gonna probably give me a lot of hate, and it's gonna be very controversial. But again, GT Sport kind of just put us in this position with the strategy here. So the strategy here that we're going to do is going to be just using the softs and the mediums, as if you go into the pit stops here at Laguna Seca, it takes over 25 seconds to change the tires. And if you're adding fuel, you just got to add an extra couple more seconds. So it actually doesn't make sense to change to all 3 compounds, especially on the hards. With the hards, you're going to slow down because of how ungrippy they are around the racetrack. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the softs and the mediums and avoid the hards, so we don't have to spend 25 seconds on the pit, since we only get a 20-second penalty when we don't use in the required compounds. So that's going to be the controversial strategy as we jump into the race. We're starting here in 9th place. You can see the cars right ahead of us are single file as we come into the first corner now. We have the American flag get flown right past us as you see the jets come right by us as we head into turn number 1. Brake right where we need to as we try to clip our first and second apex. You see the Porsche goes a little bit wide right behind the Toyota, and we're staying right behind him, as it was too optimistic of a move to try to make a move under him as we head into turn number 3 now. Coming to turn number 4, underneath the Cooper tires sign billboard, I don't know what to call that, but right into this fast right-hander here as we're still right behind the Porsche in a slipstream, as we are going to try to make a move onto the inside here. Brakes very, very early. We actually make contact with him, bump him out of the way, but luckily we don't bump him too hard, so we don't turn into a torpedo here as we come into the left-hander here, leading us into the corkscrew. So coming to the corkscrew for the first time, are we going to be able to make it through it cleanly? Yes, we are able to. So everyone behaves himself as we head into the corkscrew. No incidents there as we're coming into this long left-hander here, heading us into the final 2 corners. Staying right behind the Porsche as you see we're starting to get pressure from behind. As you can see, the car is on our back bumper as we head into the final hairpin on the final corner. You see there's a car that goes into the pit stop as he's going to switch off from the hards to maybe the mediums or the softs, but he came in, and we are able to overtake him since he came into the pit stop. So now we are promoted into 8th place on lap number 2. So coming into lap number 2 now, coming into the first corner, we're still right behind the Porsche as we brake right before the 3-meter board, or a 3 number sign. I'm just going to call it a 3 number sign, but we hit our second apex as best as we can as we head into the kink now. Coming to the 3rd corner now, we're still right behind the Porsche as we head into this right-hander. Staying right behind his back bumper as we get a really good exit, trying to make a move onto the inside, but it's going to be a little too optimistic again, as we're going to try to wait for a better position to try to make the overtake on the Porsche ahead of us. As you can see, we're very, very fast in him, but We are unable to as we come into the end of lap number 2. Coming to the corkscrew now, we're making a move onto the inside. Try to make a move onto the inside of the Porsche, but he cuts us off and he holds his position. We back out of the move there, and luckily the Porsche behind us didn't run into us as we are heading to this long left-hander here. Coming to the long left-hander, we're still right behind the Porsche. In the slipstream, make a look onto the inside, but no cigar there as we're getting a good exit now. Coming to the hairpin, we're on the inside of him as we go side by side, and he allows us to go into the inside. And we are able to overtake him to get 7th position as we now set our sights on the Toyota right ahead of us as we come down the front straightaway. So coming down the front stretch, we're heading into lap number 3 as we're gonna have to try to make up as much time as we can on the Toyota right ahead of us as we come into this right-hander now. Get very, very wide, almost lose it there as we get very, very swirly, hitting the curbs there as we come into this right-hander now. And we lose time on the Toyota as we jump up into lap number 4. We're able to make up a couple of seconds on him as we're heading into this left-hander now. As you can see, the Toyota is now caught up with the car right ahead of him as he's going to try to make a move onto the inside heading into this left-hander here. It's very, very fast left-hander. We brake right after the 2 number board, and you can see the other car, the other Toyota that's in 6th place, gets a really bad exit, and we're able to make a move onto the inside. And we're able to complete the pass right before we hit into the corkscrew now. So that promotes us into 6th place as we set our sights again on Toyota right ahead of us as he gets very, very swirly coming out of the corkscrew. So that should allow us to gain some time on him as we head into the final 2 corners now. Coming to this right-hander here, we're trying to clip the apex as best as we can. As you see, the Toyota is still not gripping his tires as best as he can. As he's actually losing some time there as we come out of that right apex. And heading into the hairpin now, we're now on his back bumper as we head down the straightaway, leading us into turn number 1. Coming to turn number 1, we try to get a wide entrance on the Toyota, and now we're exactly on, well, we're not exactly, but now we're on his back bumper as we come into this right-hander here, and we're still right behind the Toyota. As we come into this right-hander, he misses his apex there, goes very, very wide, hits the dirt. That's going to slow him down now as we head into his right-hander. Jumping into lap number 6 now. We're heading to his right-hander, as you can see, we're still right behind the Toyota, and we're still about half a second away from him as we come into his left-hander here. Brake it as late as we can as we try to clip the apex as best we can, and the Audi you see right ahead of him actually loses 2 positions now as he was in 3rd place, I believe. As you can see now, we're aiming on him. We make a move onto the outside as he gets a really bad exit now. We make the overtake on him as we're going to try to look onto the inside of the Toyota heading into the corkscrew. Try to get 2 and 1, but we didn't do that as we back out of the move heading into the corkscrew as it was a little too optimistic there. And we are able to promote ourselves now into 5th place as we are heading into those laps where we have to come into the pit stop. So coming to this right-hander here, we're still right behind the Toyota, and we're trying to catch up to him as we come into lap number 7 now. Coming out of this right-hander, you see 1st place comes into the pits. He's switching off from the mediums to softs. Yeah, 2 softs. And we're able to overtake him as he's in the pit stops now. We're able to promote ourselves into 4th place as we come into the corkscrew. So coming to the corkscrew, we're on lap number 8, and this is the lap that we're going to do our pit stop here. So we're going to transition from the softs to the mediums, and that's going to be our only pit stop here as, again, it just takes too long to do a pit stop here. It's just not worth it if you're only going to get a 20-second penalty here. As you're going to see right here, we're going to come in here, and you see the car behind us actually follows us in. As we're going to switch off to the mediums, put a little bit of fuel there. As you can see the dot where it recommends us to put in the fuel to, we go a little bit over there so we can save a little bit of fuel as we come out of here. You see the pit stop was about a 35-second pit stop right there. See more cars are going into the pits, and we come out in 9th place. As you can see, we are about, what, 1.5 seconds behind 8th place right ahead of us as we head into the right-hander here. Trying to gain time now as we're going to have to keep an eye on the car right behind us as he's only 0.5 of a second behind us. Heading to his left-hander here, you see now on the radar, he's now on our back bumper, so I think he's got better tires than us. He might have put on the softs instead of the mediums. And we're going to try to keep it onto the left side here. As you can see, he's still right behind us. And he's making a move onto the inside now as we head into the corkscrew. Coming to the corkscrew, he's on our inside. We're going to brake as late as we can, heading into the corkscrew. And we allow him to make the overtake on us as we're going to try to get a cutback here as he gets a really bad exit coming out of the corkscrew. We're heading to the left-hander on the outside, and we have to give up the position there as we weren't going to be able to go side by side coming out of that corner. A few more cars ahead of us are going into the pits So that's going to promote us more up into to a higher position as we come into the final corner now, heading into the hairpin. We're still right behind the Porsche, so we're trying to get a good exit there. He gets very, very wide coming out of that exit, but he's able to hold his spot there as we're going down the front straightaway and jumping into lap number 10. So coming to the end of lap number 10, you see there's more cars ahead of us that are serving the pit stop. You see 2 cars go into the inside into the pit lane, and that's going to promote us into 5th place as we come into the final corner now. We missed our apex there as we're heading into the front straightaway, leading us into lap number 11. Let's see if we can gain some time on the car ahead of us, as we're going to have to try to do as best as we can to catch up to him. Nothing really happens between lap number 11 through lap number 14, so we just jump up right here to lap number 14 on the corkscrew, as this is going to be the pit stop that some cars are probably going to take to switch to their 3rd compound. Majority are probably going to switch off to the hards, but we're going to stay out and just take that 20-second penalty and see where we can end up now as we head into the right-hander here. Is any taker's going to be ahead of us? You see there's one car that comes in. He's going to switch off to the mediums, and we're going to see where we can end up in front of him. As we can see the car actually behind us does a pit stop too. And so the key here is that we got to finish at least 20 seconds ahead of the car behind us. So it's kind of a hard feat to pull off. As you can see, the car right behind us is only 12 seconds away. So we're going to try to clip our apexes as best as we can, try to make these mediums work as fast as we can. So we got to put in a qualifier, basically, qualifier lap as we're heading to his right-hander now, coming to the 3rd corner. You see we're not pulling away from 5th place, as he's only 12 seconds still behind us. So it's going to be very, very close as we're heading into his right-hander now, trying to gain position onto the cars ahead of us. And now that I think about it, they might have just stayed on the soft, so pulled off a soft and then switched onto the softs, because I don't know if you get a 40-second penalty if you don't put on 2 required tires. But coming to underneath the bridge here as we're heading to the left-hander, it's going to lead us into a corkscrew. We're still trying to gain time on the car right behind us as we're just trying to push the car as best as we can. Heading into the corkscrew now, you see we're about 12.5 seconds ahead of the car behind us, as we're going to try to brake as late as we can, but not outbrake ourselves as we head into the corkscrew. Clip the right apex there as we head underneath the WeatherTech bridge. Heading into the left-hander now. Try to clip our apex as best as we can. We're heading to the final 2 corners. And this is going to be the moment of truth here as we're running low on fuel. If whether this strategy worked or it did not work. As you can see, 1st place and 2nd place are actually fighting for the lead, as they're going to, I believe, flip-flop there. First gets flip-flopped to 1st. And let's see what happens here as we're coming down the line. Where are we going to finish at? As we finish in 4th currently. But let's see what happens here as the 5th place car is going to pass the start-finish line soon. Let's see what happens. Coming past the start-finish line for 5th place. He overtakes us. Actually, a car overtakes us. We get demoted back into 6th place, 7th, 8th, and looks like that's where we're gonna stay at. So you can see 9th place. Everybody else is finishing up there, but you can see 1st and 2nd, they finished where they needed to, as they took their 20-second penalty and they were able to finish on the podium and get the win. And 4th place did the exact same too. So yeah, again, not proud of myself for doing this strategy, but this is the only strategy that we had to do in order to at least get a good finish. But we were unable to do that as we were a little too slow to pull off the strategy, and we actually only gained a position. It probably would have been better if we went into the pits and did all 3 tires, but I just had to try since I saw that's what basically a lot of other cars were doing. So coming to the stats right here, you can see that 2nd place actually didn't come into the pits. He just stayed, I believe, on the hard tires and just ran them all the way to the end of the race and only got a 20-second penalty. So if you guys were running this race, I mean, maybe you guys could try just running the hard tires and not make any pit stops at all. Maybe that could be the key to you winning this race. But again, a lot of people were really mad at us for doing this strategy. But again, GT Sport kind of put us in that position where it kind of is the fastest strategy in order to get a good finish here. But anyways, if you guys really enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the videos. It really helps out the channel when you guys do so. And I hope to see you guys on the next video without cheating. Peace out.